All right, let's call the meeting to order for the November 21st special called Committee of the Whole meeting. Ask clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Francis, Councilmember Smiley, Councilmember Marsh,
Here.
Councilmember Crabtree,
Here.
Councilmember Craig,
Here.
Councilmember Martin,
Here.
Councilmember Wilcox,
Here.
Councilmember Meek,
Here.
Councilmember Lineberger,
Here.
Councilmember Keel,
Here.
Councilmember Bell,
Here.
Councilmember Handy.
Present.
And we do have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Everybody that is able, please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. In your package, you had the minutes for our October 19th regular meeting. If I had a chance to look those over, we'll entertain a motion.
Your motion.
We got Marsh on the motion, a second.
Second.
Martin on the second. All in favor of passing the minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then from the November 16th special called meeting, those minutes are also included. Again, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
I'm just gonna go Craig and Crabtree on that. They kind of tied. All in favor of passing those?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving along to the administrative matters. The monthly agency board committee appointee reports. Mr. Bell.
The only board I've been sitting on that's actually been meeting has been the water company, HWA. They got a few projects going on. We got the Hopkinsville Clean Water Plant Expansion and Renovation Project. That's 78% complete, and it's to be completed May 24th. It started in June 2020, so it's been a little process. It's about complete. We also have the Easy Access sewer pump station in Forest Main out on Pembroke Road. This project started in December 2022, and this project is 100% complete and is in the process of being closed out. Another project that we've been working on is the Conference Center sewage pump station, a relocation from Lovers Lane to US 68. And that project is 80% complete and is to be completed by January 24. And we also, one other project that is going on is the Pembroke Connector Phase A, Kentucky 115 to CXX Railroad. That project started in May 2023. And the project is 100% complete and is in the process of being closed out. And so a few more, and I didn't have those wrote down. And if you need them, I can get them emailed to you.
All right.
That's the only board I sat on that's been active.
Yeah, you sound like I've been pretty active over there.
Yeah, been quite a few projects. Yeah, more reading than I wanted.
Keeping you busy. All right. And just if anybody noticed, Councilmember Smiley is on his way. He was detained a little bit at work, and he is hurrying to get here. So now I guess we'll move down to unfinished business. We're going to call on Holly Bogus to talk about the Legacy Hopkinsville Rental Rehabilitation Incentives Program.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, committee members. Do you have the PowerPoint in front of you on the screen?
No.
No, okay.
You said there's about a 15-second lag. There it comes.
Okay.
All right, got it? Okay, awesome. We appreciate the opportunity to come before you this evening. We were asked to take a look at the rental rehabilitation incentive program that is currently offered under Legacy Hopkinsville and make a couple of changes to try to make this more of an investment type of incentive program as opposed to an incentive program that was available for rental properties across the board located in the Legacy Hopkinsville neighborhoods. So if you go to the second slide, the suggested from here, it's not working. Oh, I need to start it from here. Got you. Do you believe in me from beginning? Okay, next. Gotcha. Suggested amendments. There's a lot of information included in your packet. It's the entire incentive program as it currently exists with the suggested amendments. So anything that has been changed, like you'll see, intercity residential enterprise zone has been stricken and it has been replaced with the words Legacy Hopkinsville. So that's just a reflection of the name change that we undertook for marketing purposes about a year and a half ago. Parameters have been established for timely submission of applications. There was no time limit for how long a property owner could own a rental property and then apply for the rental rehabilitation program. This amendment is suggesting that within 120 days of acquisition of property, then the owner would have to submit an application during that time frame so that immediate rehabilitation work could be performed as opposed to a landlord owning the property for a number of years and then deciding to apply for the rental rehabilitation incentive. One new item that has been added is prohibiting eligibility if the property becomes in violation of the Hopkinsville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 93, which is pertaining to garbage, trash, and weeds. So that would have to be tracked to make sure that if any violations occurred during the application process or during the construction process, then they would be deemed ineligible. This also limits the number of applications that any property owner can submit to 3 in any 60-day period. The previous parameters surrounding that were an applicant could submit no more than 5 during a 1-year period. And then we're replacing the word code enforcement officer with building inspector because the building inspectors would be the ones performing the work write-ups and conducting the inspections during the course of construction. Those were the suggested changes that we were asked to take a look at. Would be happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding those or entertain any additional amendments if there are any you'd like to be addressed.
Does anybody, I do have a question. Does anybody else have anything? One question I have, just to start, as I read through some of the things, I kind of read through this from one end to the other. Some things, some language in there that says that and I'm trying to find it because I had it highlighted and then we changed packets.
Sure, I understand.
Bear with me. But basically said that the building inspector will give the owner a material list.
They perform a work write-up to determine what all has to be done to bring the building up to, or the structure up to code. So they provide a written work write-up that has to be addressed. So the landlord can't just address items that he deems necessary as part of this program. The entire structure has to be brought up to code, and they are responsible for paying for the labor associated with the project. This incentive will only reimburse for material cost only, and that is limited to 25% of the assessed value of the structure, not to exceed $10,000.
And I guess that going back to the question, it says that we're going to give a material list. Are the inspectors telling the owners what, like specking out material, like you have to use X, Y, Z material?
If it is in compliance with the basic property maintenance code, yes. So the work has to be done in conformance with the basic property maintenance code.
I'm just got concerns about how the language is, how it's written.
Page 14,
Give a material
or
list,
6,
it's
page
just saying,
6.
this issue needs to be fixed, or this issue needs to be fixed. Because, I mean, obviously I've got a little bit of experience on
Sure.
material list and those kind of things.
Have you found the page that you can direct me to?
Actually, I have, I just remember it.
Page 5
It's
refers
in
to that.
page 5.
Page 22 in the packet? Or, okay.
And I apologize. I should have
That's the
brought it on
lease.
packet.
Do you know where that's located, Laura?
It's page 10 in
It
the
says
back.
building, I know it's in the same item. Yeah, it says, on the next last paragraph, copy of the project description and materials list will be provided to the rental property owner.
Right, I don't think,
I don't want to be stepping in any holes of liability, trying to tell people what material you?
I think the work write-up is the more important part of that, is that they are identifying what work has to be done to make that property come into compliance with the basic property maintenance code. I believe it might just be a suggested list of materials. I'm going to defer to Laura.
It'll say something like, the roof needs to be replaced approximately 20 square. It gives like that, so it's gonna be 54 shingle, or whatever the right, code shingle is. It's a more encompassing document, and it's to make sure they meet whatever the minimum basic property maintenance code compliance.
So we're not specking out material.
No, it's nothing to that.
Councilman Crabtree.
So Holly, and I was looking at page 26 of Thursday night's packet. And there's a segment in there that says, abide by the International Residential Code. Can you explain what International Residential Code is?
It's the code that the Kentucky Kentucky Department of Housing, Building and Construction has adopted for residential purposes.
Okay, so Kentucky follows some international standard, is that? Okay.
That is correct, yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we form a committee to go over this. There's several questions, and I have several questions myself over, it's a long document. And I'd like to make a motion that we form a committee to go through this and report back to the committee of the whole.
Got a motion and a second.
And a second.
Councilmember Smiley, Councilmember Martin. And the motion would be to form a committee to review.
Yeah, the chairman form a committee to review.
And we'd return the findings back to this body.
Correct.
After that.
Correct.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second on the floor. Anybody got any questions on that?
No, I think it's a great idea. Thank you for suggesting it. I wasn't going to necessarily suggest that, but I didn't want to take the time also to go through several questions I had with the violations that she mentioned and some other things.
All right, so it seems like there's several questions in there. I think it's a great idea. Anybody, anything else before we put that to a vote? How about all in favor of forming a committee? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, well, that passes, 12, well, however many we got, several to nothing. I'm gonna pull you in right now, Doug. Can we go ahead and form that committee tonight?
Yes,
So,
that would be part of the motion. that was
okay,
made.
part of the motion,
Or do we need to make another motion?
let's,
and go
I think
over
your
it?
motion encompassed that. You
Okay,
Authorize the chair to nominate
Yes.
that committee.
so the committee that I would nominate for this would be, I think Councilmember Smiley. You kind of brought it up. Councilmember Crabtree. Councilmember Meek, would you be interested? Councilmember Bell? And if nobody opposes, I'd kind of like to put myself on that. I kind of started this ball rolling a few months ago, I think.
If I'm not wrong, excuse me, Chair, if I'm not wrong, I believe you are an ex officio member of that committee by your position.
That would be a great question for the attorney.
Could be, it does not have to be, though.
Okay,
So
Chair is nominated.
also on that from CDS, y'all feel free to decline if you want to. I think Holly and Laura would be good folks to have on there. Y'all know quite a bit about this. And
We'd be happy to.
I'd also, and he's not here to defend himself because I know he's probably a little tied up today, but I'd like to see Inspector Civils from the fire department. I know he has got a lot of experience on these kind of
Yes.
things as far as work with HUD and those things.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Everybody
idea.
feel good about that?
Yes,
We
sir.
need to put that committee to a vote, Doug, or we're just, okay. I've got it written down. we'll talk about it after a while, I'm sure. So, okay, so, well, we've got a committee formed, and as far as that goes, Councilmember Smiley, I guess if I'm the chair, I get to pick on somebody to be the chair of that committee. You brought it up, you win the prize.
I
You
guess
mind being the
so.
chair?
All right, I'll do it.
We'll put Councilmember Smiley there. Let me get my little chicken scratches, and I'll put Sybil's name on there. Poor guy's not here to defend himself. Holly and Laura, y'all good with that?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Well, we'll do this then. We will, say, Councilmember Smiley, just work with the clerk on when you want to schedule a meeting. Keep in mind that meeting, will that be subject to open records and open meetings and
Mhm.
all of that? So we'll get the
All right.
notices. I'm sure Brittany knows a lot more about that than I do.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with her.
All right. So anything else we need to do on that, Doug? Are we good to go? All right. Well, I'm going to say we're done with that. So now we will ease on into new business. And I'm going to call on Tom Britton for the East 21st Street renaming recommendation.
Can everybody see the screen? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, very good. Mr. Chairman, members, we have two recommendations for you tonight. The first is the renaming of a portion of East 21st Street. This section of East 21st Street, approximately 1,500 feet in length from South Virginia to Fort Campbell Boulevard, changing from East 21st to Bill Flynn Boulevard. This originated with the city, with the mayor's office. Letters were sent out this summer to all the property owners along this segment of roadway. We have distributed the request through the fire department, police department, ECC. No negative comments. We took it to the advisory committee, and they're offering a favorable recommendation to you. If any members have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Mr. Britton?
Make a motion, we forward this to council.
Second.
Go Martin and Marsh. Don been trying all night. Any more questions on that? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Send that right to council. And Tom, guess you can roll right into the East 8th Street renaming recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The second recommendation is for the renaming of a portion of East 8th Street from South Virginia to its terminus with CSX rail line from East 8th Street, renaming it to Bell Hooks Way. This originated with a petition from the Bell Hooks Legacy Group, which contained signatures from property owners along that corridor. We have submitted this to police, fire, public works, as well as ECC. No negative department head comments received. We have provided this to the E911 Advisory Board, and it comes to you with a favorable recommendation.
I'll make a motion.
Ooh.
There you
I'm gonna go with Handy and Leinenberger on this one. Just call the tie on the motion, then we'll turn into a second. Any discussion on this? Before we vote on this, I just want Ms. Motley, just appreciate your patience in getting this through. You have been to a lot of meetings. You spent a lot of time with us. I know how important this is to you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're getting ready to vote in a second, but I think from what I'm hearing, we're gonna get this done for you in a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You go talk to her. All right, we will get that on the next council meeting. I'm sure Mayor Knight can't wait to get that done for you.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna ease into the downtown entertainment district. And I see Mr. Willen's name and my name on this. Basically, I don't know what anybody knows about downtown entertainment districts. I'll be the first one to tell you. I know enough to be dangerous. So that's why Doug's name's on here as well. Basically, I just want to give you the history of how this popped up. So probably a month or two ago, I had several. My neighbor is a downtown business owner, and I don't know if y'all remember the home improvement. Wilson, the neighbor on the other side of the fence. She calls me Wilson a lot of times. Just talking over the fence, and she was discussing this with me and asked us to look into it, send some information over. Since then, through the Small Business Commission that Mayor Knight put out and that we approved, several of those folks, bumping into them out in public. So, hey, I heard y'all were looking at this. Heard this was going on. A lot of excitement around it, a lot of questions. So I sent some information to Doug and just said, hey, look into it and see what you can do. I know I was copied in an email or two that Doug and Melissa Clayton were sending back and forth. So I think between the two of them, I jumped right out of the way so as not to mess anything up. And I'm going to turn it over to Doug, and I think Ms. Clayton might have a little treat for us on something tonight with it.
Thank you. Just real quick, on the law, this is a relatively new statute that was passed by the legislature, and a lot of cities have already jumped on board, including Paducah, Owensboro, Henderson, Bowling Green, Somerset, Louisville, Lexington, Richmond, just to name a few. And what it will do, when you define a district downtown, then it just makes it easier for those that want to have a drink. They can carry that from one location to another pursuant to city ordinance that would be drafted and considered by you. So I'll turn it over to Melissa.
So Doug reached out to me and asked that I do a little bit of research just to answer questions, and so that's what I did. First of all, it's a pretty simple process for us to apply for this. The first thing we have to do is adopt the ordinance. Inside the ordinance, we have to define the boundary of where this district would be.
We're blank.
Okay. I'll wait just a second till you can see my slide.
I gave it the
Okay, great.
prescribed time.
We'll adopt an ordinance. Inside the ordinance is where we will define everything. Doug's already talked to you a little bit about the ordinance. Then basically we have to apply to the Kentucky Department of Alcohol Beverage Control. As part of that application, they will come to Hopkinsville and make a visit. They will look at our boundary that we're asking for, and upon their approval, they will issue us the right to have what's called a downtown entertainment district. So basically the ordinance, I kind of went over all these already. It has a lot of stuff in there, and we'll probably need to have some meetings with some key people on the boundary. Like, I'll show you in just a second. The length of time, the process is unknown. I looked at several people had their timelines on their website. So I think the fastest one I saw was the city of Paducah. It took them about 3 months. The city of Bowling Green took them 1.5 years. So that time is more of how much time we want to spend planning to determine what we want it to look like. So the state comes down. I said all of these on the very first slide. Okay, so I looked up some of the cities just to give you guys like a view of what it might look like. So basically, you define the area. So this is the city of Paducah. You have to put up boundary signs that say you have to be inside of this boundary. And inside that boundary, they have a cup that they can carry from place to place. It has to be in a specific cup. It can't be just a regular beer bottle or whatever walking down the street. It has to be an assigned cup that we would sell to the business owners, and the business owners downtown that wanted to participate, they would sell the cups. We would sell the cups to them, and then they would sell the cups to the individuals. So it's kind of like a pass through. But that's Paducah. I looked up the city of Bowling Green. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Fountain Row, but theirs is downtown where the college is, and that's their kind of defined boundary. They have some part of the reason probably why theirs took so long. Their marketing's really good. They have on there like the places you can go and stuff like that. And then here's Owensboro's. They call theirs the district. And then the last one I went to was Henderson. They call theirs the Sunset District. But we would need to have a few meetings and kind of figure out what we wanted ours to be. Again, there's the timeline. And maybe between Doug and I, we can answer any questions you guys might have. I think what we're looking for tonight is to make sure you guys are on board before we, dive into the process and put a lot of time into this. So I think that's what we're looking for tonight.
Sounds great.
She's exactly right. So basically what we're looking for and the conversations we've all had was, how do we want to do this at committee of the whole? And the opinion I had was, let's go ahead, present this. If everybody's behind it, we'll take a vote to push it forward. That way, as we run into ordinance changes, those kind of things, we don't have to bring them back to committee of the whole for everything. No sense in gumming the process up. If we give an affirmative vote tonight, it's something we're going to support, and then we can just, as Doug does the ordinances, we'll get them out to us, and we'll have something to vote on at council, and not just keep coming back to committee and then to council, back to committee and back to council. That, I think for all of us, that gets a little old after a while. And I
And
know
I'm-
for the people pushing it, it definitely will.
I will say, but just from reviewing the ordinances from some of these cities that I've already looked at, the ordinances are very standard because the statute tells you what has to be in the ordinance. The question is going to be, where is this boundary going to be defined? And I think that's where we really need to look at what businesses are here now that will take advantage of this, and where will the growth be anticipated? And so we can reach out and get all the help from everyone that we can to help us define that boundary for your consideration. It's going to be up to you to define that boundary.
Amy.
Are businesses downtown interested in doing this? Have we talked to any businesses downtown? They are, you're nodding.
Very, very interesting.
Okay, I hadn't heard. So, I wanted to make sure that obviously this is going to directly impact our businesses, and we want to make sure they are, I guess, on board, is what I'm thinking. Okay,
There could be some negatives too.
It was.
right, that's my question.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the downtown owners that first.
That brought this up.
That brought
Okay.
this over.
We've had a lot of business come and ask, Mayor, can we get a downtown district? And that's, and with them at the brewery talking to Steve about it, and I've talked up Main Street, down Virginia Street. We got a lot of people that are interested in it, and hopefully that will bring in some more businesses downtown and help us grow a little more. So we're willing to try anything at least one time.
Go ahead, Chuck.
So Melissa, you've reached out to these other cities
Yes.
as part of your research.
Mm-hmm.
Give us the good, the bad, and the ugly from those cities.
Nobody really had anything bad to say. It was mostly positive. I went to what's called the Kentucky Governmental Finance Officers Association. We had a meeting November 1st and 2nd, or 2nd and 3rd. And while I was there, I was talking to the ones that already have it down there, because we were in Bowling Green and we were down at Fountain Row. So it was really cool to be down there. They seem to have a lot of foot traffic. They had a lot more, of course, they are a college town. But they had a lot of people down there just like enjoying themselves. I didn't really see anybody with a cup, but I know that they sell the cups too, like the one I showed you in Paducah. And let me just say, we're going to need somebody who's creative. I do finances. I don't know what we want to call this thing, or, what the area needs to be. I'm not the creative. I'm logistics, but, and we're going to need Dave Herndon probably with the little maps over there so he can, and the signs. But we're going to need to have a few meetings about what we want this to be if we're going to move forward. So, but yeah, they didn't really have anything negative to say.
The one thing that, you mentioned Paducah and Bowling Green, and I haven't been there particularly for this, but I have been to both of those places a number of times. They're a little bit more pedestrian, whereas we've got major thoroughfares going through what would be considered downtown. And I know you've just started looking at this, but have you and whoever you've been speaking with, have you thought about what would be different and how we would, I can see for a special event, that would be very easy to do. We close off half of downtown or whatever. But on an ongoing basis, that would be something that we'd really have to look at.
Chuck, one thing we're looking at, Dave and Mike have already submitted to the state about changing the speed limits down Main Street.
Right.
Virginia Street, we're gonna change it down to 15, 20 mile an hour, get off this 35 mile an hour, slow people down so people can walk, make it
Okay.
more pedestrian friendly. And
That'll help.
then Chief Newby and his crew are gonna start really pressing the speed limit down through here. When you look up, you see them running 45, 50 mile an hour when they top this hill right up here. We gotta change this narrative so people will wanna walk.
I could see that being one one major concern, but it sounded like you thought about that, so.
And Chuck, I should have said this on the front end. At the same time, I reached out to Doug about this. I also reached out to Chief Newby because I figured, if there was any concerns, I wanted to hear from him. And I received nothing but positive feedback from the chief about doing this. Doug and Chief were the two. I was like, if they don't support it, then we, slow it down. But no, they both, especially Chief Newby. I don't see him here tonight, but he was very much in favor of it.
Well, that would be a concern for me because it would create additional enforcement, issues, I think. And, one of the things you want to do is create an environment down there that's friendly. Everybody gets along and all that kind of thing. We obviously won't be able to do everything. No city can do everything. But we already have seemingly an area or a district, if you will, where a lot of the breweries and, micro distilleries and that kind of thing are in. I'm assuming, that might be some of it, but I would be concerned, nightlife is not necessarily thought of as a family-friendly activity, but we want to we've been talking about downtown Hopkinsville being an area that we'd like to make family-friendly, where families would come down and walk around, go to restaurants where they don't necessarily need to carry alcohol around. And, alcohol, carrying it around in a district and minors, it's another issue for enforcement. So, all of this discussion doesn't need to take place tonight. I would support passing it along to city council and then getting into some of those issues.
Can I take that as a motion to push it forward?
Sure, but you can, but I just
Second.
Melissa, thank
Melissa,
you.
you
She
have
has a
anything?
second. Yeah.
I've
Do
got
I-
a motion and a second.
Just real
Still
quick,
discuss.
to answer your
Yeah.
question about the safety, that's going to be one of the factors that the state will look at when they come down. They have to actually put eyes on
Right.
the boundaries, and it's in the regs that we have to ensure that any portion of a public thoroughfare included in a common area is controlled in a manner that ensures public safety and pedestrian protection from traffic. So that's going to be something that we will have to show the state that we have taken care of.
Okay. And these other cities, you got no negative comments, but I just, down deep in my heart, I'm thinking they probably haven't been doing it long enough either to know what some of the negatives might be long-term as well, so.
I think Owensboro passed theirs in 2018. They were one of the first ones right out of the gate. Right after the law became available, they pushed forward. So theirs is more,
Got a unique setup. though.
they
Yeah,
do.
the
It's more
river.
connected to
We
the,
have Main Street.
right, where their bridge is and all that. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
The thing that excites me the most about this is just the fact that this idea actually came from the business owners that it would affect. It's for me, it's a good chance for us to show that we're listening to the folks
That's it.
that are doing business in these areas and
That's
are there, on a daily basis, and that we're doing what we can do to help them out and make their businesses. I know some of them put their life savings in it. I've even had people that have retail in these areas, one in particular that's excited because like, the more people coming down there, the more exposure my store gets. Some people may come down that didn't know it was there or see something through the window that they're going to come back the next day. So
I have a motion and a
we
second.
got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor of pushing it to council, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, that one flows right along. All right, well, that's going to bring us down to item number 8, the one
Motion to
everybody
adjourn.
enjoys. I've got a motion from Mr. Martin to adjourn.
Second.
And Craig with the second. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
25 minutes.